We are Bums. Welcome back to the Sportsbumz podcast with Alex and Cody.
Alright, so on today's podcast, episode 2, we will be finishing our top 10 player in NBA history per position list that we left off last week. We will be doing small forward, power forward, and center. It was very fun and controversial doing these NBA top 10s, and I hope you all enjoy. Alright, now we're on to small forwards, and small forwards, it's a bit harder to rank, especially in the top 5-ish, for me at least.
Mm-hmm.
At number 10, I have Rick Barry. I know all the Warrior bandwagoners don't know who the heck this dude is. But to let all y'all know, he's actually a Warrior who won you guys a championship.
Yep.
And the thing is, I will, discount his championship a little because he did play in an era, that decade was, the most, winnable to, win championships. Because, there was 8 different championships in that decade.
Yeah.
So, I kind of, dock some points from that, but nonetheless, he's still a legend in my top 10.
I mean, I had him right off my list. He was one of the people that just were close but didn't make it. I mean, he has the underhand shot, underhand free throw, which is iconic. So, I mean, I can understand why he has a 10. I mean, for me at number 10, I have James Worthy. He was part of the big 3 with Magic and Kareem in the Showtime Lakers teams. I mean, he won Finals MVP one of those years. So I feel like we had to have him on the list. And, I mean, he did play with Michael Jordan in college, and at that point was the better player in college. So I feel like that has to count for something too.
Yeah, he was my number 11. So
okay,
we agree on that. So at number 9, I have John Havlicek. Yeah, he did play in an era where he was the second guy, and he did have a lot of help. But we can't totally discount 8 championships. It's still pretty hard to win 8 chips. And it's not like he was a bum. He averaged 20 a game his whole career, even has a Finals MVP.
He was good.
I think a lot of people won't have him in their top 10 because they just don't know who he is. But to let y'all know, he won 8 championships, which is second all time. And he's not like a Robert Horry. He was getting buckets.
No, he was getting buckets. I mean, I had him just on my list too, him, Rick Barry. I mean, I had other people like Kawhi, Melo, and Adrian Dantley. Those 5 were right off my list. I mean, for number 5, I got one of my favorite players, The Truth. I got Paul Pierce at 9.
You mean number 9?
Yeah, number 9, I got Paul Pierce. That's right. I got The Truth at number 9.
I thought it would be higher. Celtics fans didn't put him higher?
No, I mean, I got to be realistic. There are a lot of great small forwards out there. I mean, the Truth definitely deserves to be in the top 10, just not as high as I personally would like him to be, but realistically, he has to be at number 9.
I had him at 8, actually, because, he was absolutely, as a basketball player, he's clearly more skilled than the guys we've all named. If we just look at their game, as time goes on, these players are getting more, skilled. That's just how evolution works. Players are getting better. Players are getting more athletic. Players are getting more skilled.
Yep.
So I'm going to have a guy like Paul Pierce who has won a ring over guys like Rick Barry and Havlicek and Worthy because he was just a killer, bruh. People now hate on him because he's an idiot on on ESPN and stuff like that, but we can't hurt his career and resume just because he's being a dummy on TV and saying how he's better than Wade, which is absolutely ridiculous.
I mean also the guy went to Kansas. I mean KU basketball. I mean gotta shout that out. At 8 for me, I got the human highlight reel. I got Dominique at 8. I feel like he needed to make the list because, I mean, he was iconic. Even though his Hawks teams weren't that good, he was still one of the greater players in the 80s. And, I mean, just the dunk contest with Mike and, I mean, just all that. I feel like I had to have him in there.
I didn't even have him on a list. It's empty numbers. It's like Zach LaVine 2.0, dude. Dunk contest, numbers on bad teams. I feel like there's no way you can put him in the top 10, especially over a guy like Paul Pierce. You put up similar numbers.
You could switch Paul Pierce and Dominique. I can understand that. You could switch those two.
Yeah, he'd probably be in the 13 to 15 for me because I felt he is an icon, but kind of empty numbers, no playoff success whatsoever. All right, so at number 7, I have Melo, and I know a lot of haters are gonna be like, "Oh, Melo's a ball hog" and stuff like that, bro. Melo is literally one of the most skilled scorers we have ever seen and will ever see, dude. We have never
is.
seen that ability offensively. He has
In the
everything.
mid-post.
Pull up, post, footwork, anything. Anything offensively he has. He's not a horrible defender, guys. He's actually not horrible. He's not the most committed, but he's not a horrible defender. He's not like a Steve Nash who's just like incapable. Steve Nash at number 2, bro. Come on, man.
Bro.
But
I mean, I see where you're coming from. I mean, I had Melo just off my list at 11. I mean, yes, he is one of the greatest scorers. I mean, we won't see another scorer in the mid post like Melo. I mean, he's even got his own move called the Hezo Melo. I mean, he is an all around great player. But I mean, for me at number 7, I have Chris Mullin. You know, Dream Team member. I mean, he's a top 5 shooter of all time. I mean, I have him just right under Clay. I have Clay at 4. I have him at 5 for the greatest shooters of all time. So, I mean, he was part of TMC. I mean, I feel like he needed to be. He's probably not even on your list, but
no, he's not. Like when I was making I didn't even consider him. Like I think he's highly overrated, dude. Like you could have argued that Mitch Richmond and Tim Hardaway were as good or better than Mullin on that team,
Mitch
and you
Richmond
wouldn't even
almost
have
made my shooting guard list.
I'd even have him close to making my top 10 shooting guards, and I felt like all those are on the similar level. And I'm not gonna give credit because he made the dream team, bro. Christian Laettner made the dream team. Come on, man.
Shaq should have made the dream team. Shaq should have made it over Laettner.
But like, I don't count that as like a real benefit making the dream team.
I guess.
All right, so number 6, I have Scottie Pippen. I think he's on everybody's.
I got him higher.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Scottie really underrated.
Yeah, but like he was never like the focal point of offense, which is why I put some of the guys I did ahead of him. But we can't argue his greatness, you know. He was honestly like one of the first point forwards in the league, like his ability to bring the ball up, even guard point guards like Magic Johnson in the finals. Elite two-way player. There's no rings without Scottie. Michael has no rings without Scottie. We can all agree on that.
I mean, for me at number 6, I have Elgin Baylor. I mean, played with Jerry West. What? Yeah, I mean, I had to throw an old head in there. I mean,
dude,
I have Elgin Baylor at 6.
What is this dude talking about, bro? Dude, you're talking about a dude who won no championships in the 1940s, in the freaking Ice Age. He didn't win a championship, bro. Dude, there was like 8 teams and he couldn't win a championship. Couldn't win a championship in the Ice Age. You got him in your top 10.
I got him at 6.
Bro, that's ridiculous, bro. You're just putting an old head because all these old people be like, oh, Elgin Baylor was that good. No, dude. He couldn't win a championship in the Ice Age.
Bob Cousy on my point guard list. I want Bob Cousy off my point guard list.
Dude, Bob Cousy, bro. Plays like a grandpa, bro.
Left Bob Pettit off the power forward list, too.
Dude, what? Okay. I don't know. Okay, what is this dude talking about, bro? Okay. Number 5. I have Kawhi, dude. Like, he doesn't have the longevity, but you can't discredit what he's done. He's, as a talent, he's basically an upgraded Pippen. Offensively, as a player, he's an upgraded Pippen. He has the 2 chips. He has led the team even though Durant got hurt. Kawhi is clearly like one of the most talented offensively small forwards we have ever seen. Like his ability to use the mid-range game in today's NBA is unusual and is not seen. And defensively, in a league where defense has become slim to none, he's probably the best on-ball defender. I think we could all agree on that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have him on my list because of longevity. He was close to making the list.
Dude, that's Elgin Baylor over Kawhi.
I mean, for me at number 5, I have KD. I know it's probably a little low for you, but I have KD at 5.
At 5, bro? Bro, you gonna have bums over KD?
No, I'm not. Bro, I know. I got 4 players. I got 4 players that I would take over KD easily.
I don't even know if I could find 4 players in history better than KD, bro. Let alone small forwards.
I got KD at 5.
Ridiculous. Okay, at number 4, got Dr. J, the icon, the legend. He had dominance not only in the NBA but the ABA. Won a championship with Moses Malone with the 76ers in '83. He was probably the first iconic dunker for most people. And he dominated both leagues, averaged upper 30s in the ABA. He totally dominated the ABA. And once he went to the NBA, he was a little out of his prime, still averaging in the mid-20s, which is excellent. And there's no question he's a top 5 small forward.
Yeah, I mean, I have him one spot higher. I have him at 3, but at 4, I have Scotty. I feel like people really underrate how great of a player Scotty was. I mean, like you said, he was really the first point forward. And, I mean, if Scotty was put on a team where he was the main focus, I feel like you would see a lot more offensive production out of him. And, I mean, like you said, he's probably one of the greatest. He's top 3 defenders during his era. And there are no championships without Scotty.
Yeah, for sure. I had him in a similar range. All right, at number 3, I got Larry Bird, the greatest white player of all time. Yeah, Larry Bird. He was an all-around great player, great playmaker, solid defender, great shooter. Him and Magic carried the league during the 1980s. Like, part of the success of basketball because of Magic and Larry, as they kind of like saved the league, especially like in terms of popularity. They really like saved the league in terms of these guys actually getting paid and getting like fans watching the game.
Yep. I mean, for me at 3, I have Dr. J. I just had him one spot above where you did. I had Dr. J at 3. So, I mean, I couldn't really argue with you having him at 4. So, I just put him at 3.
At number 2, he's a clear 2 to me. KD. He's the greatest scorer we've ever seen, dude.
No,
we'll never see a guy 7 foot, can handle the ball like that, can shoot the ball like that. And people say, if he didn't join the Warriors, they wouldn't get chips. No, he was the reason why they won those championships. In the second championship KD won, Curry and Clay were struggling mightily in the first 4 games. If KD didn't come through in both game 3s of both finals, hitting those type of shots, and people say he's not clutch, get out of here. He's clutch, bro.
No, he is clutch.
Those shots in the finals, game 3, he's one of the most skilled offensive scorers we'll ever see. We'll never see a 7-footer do that. I mean, maybe Imani Bates in a couple years, but that's the future. We don't know, but dude, I don't know how you could put Bird ahead of him. Like,
I have Bird.
They have like similar success.
I have Bird at 2. That might just be my Celtics fandom coming out, but I have Bird above KD.
Nah, KD's clearly better. All right, at number 1, it should be everyone's number 1, unless if you're, I guess, a couple Michael Jordan fans got him at like 10. But LeBron.
Yep.
He's literally one of the GOATs. He not only on the court but off the court, his impact on not only basketball but on life in general, like he's just a legend, and we cannot, like, people even say he's not a scorer and he still averaged 27. Like, he's not a scorer and averages
he's
27
averaging 25 plus every year. I mean, it's not even a question.
Yeah, a clear 1, and that's actually something me and Cody won't actually argue about, since we had a totally different list besides at number 1, because this dude doesn't know basketball, but so whatever.
Yeah, we're close on Paul Pierce. I mean, and then I had Scotty a little higher because I like Scotty a lot more. But
bro, you had Elgin Baylor on the list. If you can't win chips in the Ice Age, you ain't on my list, bro. That's all I gotta say. All right, now we're doing the top 10 power forwards, which for me was it's definitely the weakest position. Like, I feel like a lot of centers and small forwards who are on the ends of the list probably could be in the top 5 for power forwards, because I feel like it's a pretty watered down position. So at number 10, I have Elvin Hayes, Washington Bullets legend. Throughout his career as a 21 and 13 guy, solid. I'm surprised that he was actually like 10th in career points, which is pretty high.
He's a lot higher than a lot of people know.
Had an all-around game, and
I mean, I had him right outside. I had him at the 11-12 spot. For me at number 10, I have Blake Griffin.
Blake
Griffin in the early years of his career. Before all of his injuries, was one of the most dominant forces in the league.
Bro, you might as well put Zion in the top 10 if you got Blake Griffin in. Griffin, dude.
I got Blake Griffin injured, at 10.
Bro.
Before his injuries, he was one of the most dominant forces in the league.
Dominant forces can't even do anything in the playoffs as the second best player on the team.
I have Blake at 10.
Yo, are we doing top 10 dunkers or top 10 players, bro? Blake Griffin.
I got Blake Griffin.
who the Pistons want to get rid of right now. That Blake Griffin.
Because he's on a bad contract.
Bro,
he got overpaid.
He's a bad contract because he's not a max player getting a max contract. So why is he top 10?
Only because of his injuries. It's the same thing with T-Mac. Before all his injuries,
bro,
averaging 20 and 10 at least a night.
Dude, T-Mac, we were having debates over top 2 in that era with him and Kobe, right? Nobody thinks Blake Griffin's even a top 10 player. Nobody has ever thought of that in the league right now. Nobody.
I got Blake at 10.
Blake Griffin. I don't even know if he's a top 10 power forward in LA history, for being honest. All right, number 9, I got Bob Pettit, an old head. I know you probably don't have on the list, but
nope.
When you look at his resume, he did win a chip during that time that was dominated by other legends, and he's a 2-time MVP, and he only played 10 seasons, but he averaged 26 and 16, which is great numbers in any era, so I'm not going to indict him for that, especially for this position where the power forward position where it was really hard to put players in for me, at least at the end. So just off the respect and him pioneering the way for other players, I decided to put him at 9.
Yeah, I mean, him and Elvin Hayes were the 2 people that I left off my list. For me, at number 9, I have Giannis. Might be a little early, but I mean, I have Giannis at 9 right now. With what he's doing in the league right now at such a young age, I mean, you can only expect more of it to come. So I mean, I have him at 9.
I have him higher. I have him a little higher. Okay, at number 8, I have Kevin McHale, who is not really looked upon unless if you're a Celtics fan. I feel like a lot of people don't.
I have him one spot higher. I have him at 7, so I respect that.
You're talking about a guy who won multiple chips in that Jordan, Magic, that era of greatness. I don't think the Celtics win the chips without Kevin McHale. He was the clear second option, had a great post-up game, averaged around 20. He was tough, clearly a top 10 power forward in my opinion.
I mean, for me, at number 8, I have one of my personal favorite players of all time, the Rain Man, Sean Klump. I got Sean Kemp.
Bro,
8.
this got to be a top 10 dunk players, bro.
Nope.
How is he
I
no
got
top
Sean
10,
Kemp
bro?
8. Bro,
Oh my God.
That's just me having him because he's probably my favorite player of all time. But I got Sean Kemp.
Biased as hell.
Yeah, that one's probably biased, but I mean I have Sean Kemp at 8.
Bro, I'd put Zion over Sean Kemp.
He dunked on someone and then pointed at him after.
That don't make you a top 10 player.
It don't, but I mean he's still a solid all-around player.
I don't know about that, bro. Dude, I think you're making top 10 dunkers list, to be honest.
Nope.
Dude, might put Stromile Swift soon.
No.
All right.
I don't got Stromile.
At number 7, I got AD, and I know it's early, but he's one of the greatest. Dude, he's one of the greatest power forward talents, and I don't think we recognize how great someone is when they haven't retired yet. So we're still seeing how great he is, and I feel like there's a clear talent disparity between him and guys like Bob Pettit, Elvin Hayes, and Kevin McHale. And I know people say, oh, he only has like one playoff series win, but he's in New Orleans, bro. Literally the league owns part of New Orleans. That's a bad situation. And I'm happy that he finally got out of New Orleans and found a home in LA with LeBron.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even think about it, but I mean, you made some good points. For me, at number 7, I have Kevin McHale. Like you said earlier, I just had him one spot higher. I mean, great all-around player, number 2 option on his team, right behind Bird. I mean, I put him at 7.
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely in that range. Number 6, I have Giannis, and people are gonna argue like, oh, he's only had 4 years of elite level play, but again, I value your peak a lot, and
he's not even
right now we're
yet.
seeing. Yeah, and we're still getting 2-3 years of MVP play. I mean, have we seen a guy that dominant? Like he's like the Shaq of this era. Not as dominant as Shaq, but he's like just a dominating force. He's not even like. Let's be honest. Middleton is not an all-star level player.
No, he's not. He's not.
Like Giannis isn't really playing with any all-stars, if I'm being honest.
Nope,
like
he's
carrying that team, and he's making people all-stars. Like next year, we might see Wesley Matthews as an all-star. Just the way how dominant Giannis is, and he makes players better. Elite defender.
Yeah.
And I expect him to be at least in the top 3 or 4 when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue that. I mean, for me at number 6, I have Rodman. He's the greatest.
What?
One of the greatest. He's honestly
a
the
guy who averaged
rebounder.
6 points in his career.
He's the greatest rebounder of all time. You will never see another rebounder like Dennis Rodman, and he's
I
one
don't
of the
know
greatest.
about that.
He's one of the greatest on-ball defenders of all time too. Now, granted, he only averaged 6 points a game. That the Pistons or the Bulls don't win either of their championships without him.
No, the Pistons do. The Pistons do.
No,
he was like the eighth valuable guy. He was.
No, it wasn't.
He was like
He
the
started.
7th or 8th valuable.
He started.
It don't matter. Mahorn, Lambeer, Vinny, Microwave Johnson, Dumars, and Isaiah were all more valuable. No, dude. Definitely.
I'm Rodman at 6.
How are you gonna put Draymond Green in your top 10, bro?
No.
You're putting a guy who averaged 6 points a game in your top 10.
Bro, greatest rebounder I've ever seen.
Okay, then I guess you're gonna put Andre Drummond in your top 10 centers tomorrow.
Nope.
Okay, I'm not trying to disrespect Rodman over here, but he's not a top 10 player. Like, come on.
Yes,
man.
he is.
All right, number 5, I got the mailman,
Yep,
absolute musclehead.
Yep, I got
Karl
him at 5
Malone.
too.
Yeah, he puts up all these points, but I feel like
Longevity.
it's mostly dump downs and the system, and I just feel like he's not as talented, and he doesn't have the playoff success as the people higher up on my list.
I got him at the same spot. I got him at 5.
All right, number 4, I got Charles Barkley, and he's the reason why I chose, even though they both don't have playoff success, Charles Barkley is clearly the more all-around player than Malone. He was a 22 and 12 guy. He didn't have to rely on the pick and roll to get all those points, and he's also great on television. Probably one of my favorites.
Yep.
And to me, he clearly gives me the edge over Malone, even though I consider that the same tier, him and Malone.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I have Dirk at 4 instead of Charles. I have Dirk at 4. Now, granted, he did win the championship. They both did have an MVP season. And I mean, Charles is more of an all-around player on offense and defense. Dirk was kind of just standing out there like a twig. And I mean, Charles was a better rebounder too. So I have Dirk at 4.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I have Dirk at 3, which is next up. The reason why I get, he did win that chip, but I feel like what people don't recognize, how he, revolutionized the game for Europeans. Mm-hmm. He was the first, him and, Peja Stojakovic were, the first early Europeans that came over, had instant success. He's, one of the first 7-footers to shoot the ball. Mm-hmm. He's, basically, if there's no him, I don't think we see a Kevin Durant maybe. We never saw 7-footers shoot threes like that earlier.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I have Charles at 3. I just switched in with Dirk. I just think Charles is more of an all-around player, better rebounder, better defender. Both really good players on offense. Both won MVPs. I just thought he had the edge over Dirk.
Yeah, I think we're actually going to agree on the top 2 then, because I have Garnett at 2. I'm pretty sure.
Nope.
What?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I don't know what this dude is smoking over here. No, because Duncan's a clear 1.
Nope.
Duncan is the clear 1. I don't even want to hate on Garnett, but Garnett only has 1 championship, and he was even though he was the leader of that team, he only has 1 ring, and it was with great talent. I would say that Celtics team
his Timberwolves team sucked though. If your second best player is Latrell Sprewell or Sam Cassell,
he had Sam Cassell. Sam
Cassell out of his prime. Come on.
Wally Zerbiak. You got shooters.
Oh my God, he's a power forward. How is he supposed to get the ball to shooters?
Bro, dude, in the post when they double kick it out.
Oh my God.
Dude, okay, I don't know why you think he's better than Duncan, but Duncan's the clear 1, bro.
I have Duncan at 2.
5 chips. 5 chips.
Yeah, he's got 5 chips, but I mean, I have Duncan at 2. I mean, Garnett did win that MVP in Minnesota.
Duncan has the MVP.
Duncan always had better talent around him. Garnett's Timberwolves teams were really bad.
I don't know about that. I think the Celtics team underachieved.
Duncan came into the league playing with David Robinson.
David Robinson was his prime. He was only averaging 15 a game at that point.
Still though, that takes some of the focus off of Duncan. He came in playing with David Robinson, and then Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili played with him for the rest of his career. And then at the end of his career, when he was out of his prime, he got Kawhi.
Yeah, but I think we can all agree that Celtics team kind of underachieved. You're telling me with Garnett, Pierce, and Allen, you only won 1 chip? I thought they could have got 3. And that's why I felt like Garnett, you can't put Garnett over Duncan. I think they had similar talent around them. Not in the Timberwolves days, but at least with the Celtics. Duncan has won championships in every era, in the 90s, in the 2000s, and in the 2010s. Even when he was out of his prime, he was still winning championships, still the leader of that team. But for the most part, we both had like similar rankings. Probably
Yeah,
the one we actually, besides your blasphemous for your late half of the top 10, for some reason you thought it was a dunkers list and put two guys who probably aren't even my top 20 power forwards, to be honest.
Chris Bosh almost made my list too. He was close.
Oh, yeah, Chris Bosh. But
I took Chris Bosh out for Giannis. I probably should have left him in over Blake, but they were both
Griffin.
at 10 or 11 for me.
Blake Griffin in the top 10.
I don't know. I don't know how you don't have Rodman in your top 10, not even at 10.
I can't put a guy who averaged 6 points in his career in the top 10. I'm sorry. It's basketball. Like, if we're playing jungle ball, I'll put him in number 1. I'm not trying to disrespect Rodman over here. I just don't think he's not a top 10 NBA player, basketball player. He's not top 10. Sorry. All right, now on to top 10 centers. And this was actually probably my toughest and most controversial list. And at number 10, I have an old head, George Mikan. He was the first dude. But if we just look at his sheer dominance, in the 7 seasons he played, he had 4 titles. I know it was the 1940s, but in reality, a lot of people could put him in the top 5, but I dock him down to 10 because of that era. But he was the first great center the NBA has ever seen. If you put which old head, like, you had Elgin Baylor in your top 8-ish or whatever, and he played in the Ice Age and got no chips. At least this dude won 5 chips in the Ice Age.
I didn't even have George Mikan close. I didn't even have him in my top 15. I mean, for me at number 10, I have Robert Parrish, Big Chief.
Robert Parrish?
I got Parrish at 10.
Robert Parrish.
He made it over people like Yao, Ben Wallace, and Bill Walton for me. So those were the other 3 people that were close at 10 for me. I put
Robert Parrish. Again, you can't put an instigator in your top 10. He was literally the 3rd guy. He was like a Tristan Thompson of that team, dude.
Oh, my God. Don't even compare Robert Parrish to Tristan Thompson. That's disrespectful.
Come on, man.
That's so
we're putting Robert – the only thing I know Robert Parrish from is, like, that he, like, played one of the most games of all time. Like, bro, come on. That's the only stat he really, like, excels in.
I mean, he held down the middle for those Celtics teams with Bird and McHale, so I have him at 10.
I don't think you can even put him in your top 20. Like, just in talent alone, you can put guys like in like today's NBA ahead of him, like guys like Embiid, Jokic. Like, they're just so far ahead talent-wise. I can't put a guy who's the 3rd, 4th guy on a Celtics team that won chips. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. All right, at number 9, I got Willis Reed. And I know a lot of people wouldn't have him in the top 10, but the reason why, New York, that sorry franchise, he's the only guy to lead them to chips. He has 2 chips with the Knicks, only ever. That sorry franchise has 2 chips because of him. And that memorable moment where he walked out with that, like, what do you have, like a torn Achilles or something? Came back and played, bruh. Absolute legend. And New York probably won't win for another 200 bajillion years, and he's the only guy to deliver championships.
I didn't even have him close to my top 10. For me, at number 9, I have Dwight Howard.
Dwight Howard, who still doesn't have post moves in 20, who hasn't learned a post move in 15 years.
Dwight Howard, when he was on the Magic and the Rockets, we'll throw the Rockets in there too. Rockets and Magic Dwight, especially Magic Dwight. He carried that Magic team in the finals. He pulled
No, he didn't.
You're telling me his second best player is Jameer Nelson.
Jameer Nelson was an all-star, and he had Hedo Turkoglu, one of the most underrated players. He had Mikael Pietrus. He had Vince Carter one year. He had J.J. Redick. He had Rashard Lewis. That team was loaded. It wasn't.
He's already one of the all-time leaders in rebounds too, and he's still playing.
I don't care. Andre Drummond's going to be one of the leaders all time. I'm not going to put him in the top 10. Hassan Whiteside's going to be in the top 10 rebounds maybe all time. Like, dude, the Dwight Howard. Are you kidding me? Again, you just love your dunkers, bro.
No, oh my God.
Dude, the Dwight Howard, bro. Come on, man. All right, at number 8, shockingly enough, Knicks fans, I got Patrick Ewing. Absolute legend. And would be a lot higher, but, sucks to play in the Jordan era. Was really close to winning one against the team. Took it to Game 7, but John Starks, goddamn, couldn't buy a shot. If he hits 1 or 2 more shots, maybe he actually gets a chip. But clearly, just absolute legend. Even that story with the draft lottery, he's just an icon, especially for New York. Like, he revolutionized, like, the TV deal. You know how, like, people got actually paid? Like, the NBA was in such a decline, and him going to New York really, like, got NBA, like, their money, like, with, like, the CBS deal. Yeah, it would be a lot higher.
I mean, I have him at 7, so I can't really argue him at 8. For me at 8, I know you're probably going to hate on this one, but I have Alonzo Mourning at 8.
Bro, in the top 10?
Yes, I have Alonzo Mourning at 8.
I'm a Heat fan, and I disagree with that.
I have Alonzo at 8. Very underrated center. Very underrated center.
Yeah, but I felt like his peak wasn't as great as these guys, and he didn't play that long.
He didn't, but I mean, I feel like he was such a dominant force at the rim on both offense and defense that you couldn't deny it. And I mean, even when he was playing for the Hornets at that time and then went to Heat, I have him at 8.
Yeah, I'd probably have him in my top 10 if it wasn't for that kidney thing, but for me, probably 13 to 15-ish. Now to number 7, I have Moses Malone. Very underrated. Huh?
I don't have him on my list.
Bro, are you kidding me, dude? This dude led the Sixers team to a championship, bro.
He had Dr.
And in the year, huh? No, he was the main guy. He was the main guy, dude. He averaged 31 and 16, bro.
Okay, still, you had Dr. J.
It don't matter. He's the number 1 option. He was Finals MVP. Dude, Moses Malone, easily one of the most underrated players. 31 and 15, and you don't have him in your top 10.
Nope.
You got guys averaging like 18 and 12 in your top 10, like Dwight Howard, who have no rings.
For me, at number 7, I had Patrick Ewing. So, I mean, I just had him one spot higher than you did. I mean, great center, Space Jam character. I mean, I had him at 7.
Yeah, and then I feel like now we're entering like the elite tier, like the elite of the elite. And at number 6, I have the Admiral, David Robinson. No.
Okay.
Two-time
I had him
champion.
one spot higher. I had him at 5.
Yeah, and I feel like people don't realize, like, they're like, oh, the Spurs, the reason why he got chipped. No, the Spurs were a trash organization before he got there. Like, people don't know that. Like, after, like, between the eras of George Gervin and David Robinson, that was
garbage.
Yeah, that was the era of trash can Spurs. So he sort of like brought the aura to the San Antonio Spurs and make them this great franchise we know to this day. There's no question he's in my top 6, and you could argue for top 5. It was pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, for me at number 6, I have Bill Russell. I mean, 11 rings.
Number 5.
Morgan Freeman. I mean, I feel like he is a really good player. He was a player coach at one point, coached his team and played at the same time. I mean, it's just the time era where I feel like I dock him a little bit. So I mean, I have him at 6.
Yeah, and I know I have him at 5, and I know a lot of people are gonna hate on this, but you got to look at this. He had 7 Hall of Famers on his team in an era where there was 18. There was 18. Like, come on. And he averaged 12 and 22, 12 points. Like, if we like translate to like today, that's like averaging like 8 points.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful here, but I don't think as a player he is like, to me, like if we did a one-on-one with all these 10 centers, he would lose. He'd be the last guy.
Yep.
But because of his like championships, I think we put him at 5 to 6, which is reasonable, I think.
Yeah, I mean, for me at number 5, I have David Robinson. So I mean, not too much disagreement there. Just one spot higher.
All right, and number 4, I got Olajuwon. One of the most. You probably have Wilt higher, huh?
No, I got Hakeem higher than Wilt. I got Wilt at 4.
Yeah, I gave Wilt just the edge. I thought about putting Olajuwon at 3. But the reason why I didn't, like, if he won with Michael Jordan still there, like, in the league, I think I would definitely put him in top 3. But he really capitalized on the Jordan retirement. Like, with those 2 years he wasn't there, he really capitalized it. It literally, like, boosted his legacy to extreme heights. There's no question he's one of the legends.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I have Wilt at 4, another KU player. But, I mean, it's just the time era, and I mean, we don't really know how credible all of his stats are. I mean, he was averaging 50 points in a few seasons. I mean, that seems a little skewed.
Yeah, I have Wilt at 3, but like I think the stats is an interesting question. Like they are skewed, but like the stats are so insane that like if you like took 80 or like 70% of them, they're still insane. Like that's why I have him at number 3. In one season, he almost averaged a triple-double as a center. Another argument is going to be like the Wilt versus Bill Russell thing. And I think like people don't realize that Wilt didn't have the help Russell
He
had.
didn't have
So
the
like that's
help.
why he didn't.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
some of them he did where he played with Jerry West, but I mean, for the majority of it, he didn't have the help.
Yeah. So I think we actually finally agree on something that, Wilt is, to me, definitively better than Bill Russell. And I know a lot of, like, he's a Celtics fan. He's saying that. Like, this is not biased at all.
No. I mean, for me at number 3, I have Hakeem, and I mean, I also factored in his college career too with Phi Slama Jammer, and I mean, he had
They didn't win it. They didn't win it.
Still though, I mean, just look at how he played. I mean, one of the most dominant centers of his time, more dominant. He was the most dominant center of his era. He was more dominant than David Robinson, more dominant than Shaq, more dominant than Patrick Ewing. I mean, he even has his own move. He has the dream shake.
He's not more dominant than Shaq. Come on.
At that point in time, yes. At that point in time, yes. Later on, no. But at that point in time, yes.
At number two, the most dominant player ever, Shaq.
Nope, I have him at 1.
Yeah, I almost put him at 1. Those pinnacle years from like 3 or 4 years, I think is the most dominant we've ever seen. But the issue is I felt like he underachieved a little in his career. Maybe whether due to conditioning or like taking basketball seriously. I feel like he underachieved a little, and I felt like Kareem capitalized on most of his opportunities. And again, he's clear. Like it was close between him for 1 and 2, but to me, he's the most dominant player. We'll never see a Shaq. Like,
we'll never see another force like Shaq.
Like we'll never see a dude that big, that strong, who can move
that fast. I mean, for me, I had Kareem at 2. I had Shaq at 1 because Shaq. Because I mean, if you're the most dominant player I've ever seen, I have to put you at 1. I mean, no one was able to stop Shaq, especially in his Orlando days when he was still really slim, where he could move that fast. I mean, he was running the floor. Like Shaq was unstoppable. I mean, so was Kareem. Like Kareem has a hook shot, but I mean, Shaq was just on another level.
Yeah, I have Kareem a little higher, and that's because I felt like he's still one of the most dominant players, but he has a lot more like long-term success.
Yeah,
which gave him a slight edge. Shaq like
he got a 3-peat and then a ring with the Heat. Now, granted,
he kind of fell off after the first year in Miami. Kind of fell off.
Yeah,
didn't stay in shape and stuff like that.
But I mean,
either way, it was really close. I could have put Shaq on 1.
Yeah, I mean, if he's still that great without taking basketball as seriously as he could have, I mean, come on.
Yeah. So that's it for today's podcast, Bums. Make sure you guys leave a rating or a comment on the pod and spread the word. Also, make sure you follow us on IG, which is left in the description. See y'all bums next episode.